I don't know how much. I know you Colorado Rockies haven't done much, so you like.
Saying the Colorado Rockies haven't done much is a vast understatement. They've done nothing.
They've done
Not
nothing.
understatement, overstatement. They have done absolutely nothing. They are atrocious. I want the Montforts who own them to get the hell out of Denver and sell the team. But it's not going to happen, so I'm just expecting another horrible year like this next year.
So, before we, let's talk about that. Like, when you own a team, is it your responsibility to put money to spend to make the team competitive, or just spend to keep them afloat? Like, how do you feel like that about that as a fan?
I think you want to spend money. This music is way too loud again. I think you have a, sorry, you guys are going to see this for a moment, maybe, because I'm going to turn the music down.
Yeah, that's loud.
It's way too loud. Okay. There we go. I think the owner's responsibility is to invest enough money in your business to make it a competitive and viable business. The problem is that because of all the money they get in the Major League Baseball from the TV contracts and everything, they don't have to spend that much money to make money, so they're happy. The Montforts just want to make money out of this. They don't care about the team being any good. They tried to spend a little bit of money when they signed Chris Bryant to that $100 million deal, and that's been a disaster. So we had 4 pitchers named today by Sports Illustrated among the 7 worst in baseball. They just don't spend the money where it needs to be spent. I get it. People don't necessarily enjoy coming to Denver. The altitude's a thing. I know people are like, oh, it's not that bad. It's really that bad for people who come there. You feel like your lungs are on fire until you get used to it. It's not fun. It's hard to pitch in Coors Field, stuff like that. They fired the GM. Of course they did. They need a manager. It's all awful.
Yeah. I mean, being a Dodger fan, years when we had this great farm system and we got Clayton Kershaw, Matt Kemp, Russell Martin, Andre Ethier, that were all homegrown. And then we brought in Ramirez at one point, got us into the playoffs, but then Puig was homegrown and all, and but we kept losing, and then finally, the McCourts weren't really spending. They were spending a little bit of money, but not too much. Then we got this new ownership, and we were winning, but we weren't getting to the World Series, or we get to the World Series lose. And they said, you know what? Screw it. We're gonna start bringing guys in. They brought in Mookie. We won a title. They brought in Freddie Freeman. Buck will argue with me because the Diamondbacks did put the Dodgers out of the playoffs. But then the next year they said, okay, next year we're gonna go get the guy that's an NL MVP, bring him over here who also pitches, and we're gonna go win a World Series without him pitching. And we're going to get more. Then next year, we're going to sign one of the best pitchers ever, best pitchers, bring them over because we didn't have a lot of pitching last year. So now we're going to bring some pitchers over, and we're going to try and win another World Series. We dealt with, I won't say cheap because I think there's been way cheaper owners in LA. I mean, outside of LA. But we dealt with cheap owners, and then we dealt with, hey, build your team from the farm system, because that's hanging out with Buck, hanging out with Arizona Diamondback fans. They talk about, you should be building your team out the farm system, maybe trades, things like that. And it's like, we did that, and we weren't getting over the hump. Like Matt Kemp, Clayton Kershaw, like people kill Clayton Kershaw. He is a Hall of Famer pitcher. He won an NL MVP, Cy Youngs, 3,000 strikeouts, 300 wins. This guy's a Hall of Famer. All they talk about is postseason and how he choked. And, so, we had a farm system, and we kept homegrown guys to try to win titles, and we weren't doing it. So you know what? They said, what we're going to do? We're going to bring these guys over here. And if you watch, like Mookie Betts has a podcast, like you said, everybody has a podcast, and he talks about it. He says, I came to the Dodgers, and it's more exhausting because we have to win. Like you can go out like Colorado Rockies, they can go out and just play baseball, whether they're good or bad. They just go play baseball and that's it. The Dodger players have to win, and it's put a lot of pressure on them. And you have a guy like Ohtani, went 50-50 last year, won the NL MVP. Now he's pitching this year. He hit 50 home runs again. He's looked incredible. And let me just say this, Adelia. I don't ever want to hear about Babe Ruth. Ohtani blows him out of the water. Like Babe Ruth might have been a great player.
It's a completely different game now than it was back then. Yeah.
But
yeah. The Colorado Rockies this year, just for the record, finished 5th in the National League West. Of course they did. They were 43-119. Of those 43 wins, 25 of them were at home and 18 of them were on the road. They finished the season on a 2-8 stretch in their last 10 games, and they were 50 games back of the Dodgers in the division. They were the worst team in baseball by 17 games. The White Sox won 17 more games than they did.
Wow.
It's atrocious. They're getting some high draft picks because of this, but who knows what's going to happen with those. And yeah. Derek saying the owners are not required to put money into a team. Look at the Pirates. That's very true.
Yeah, but I'll say this before you move on to the next thing. They don't put money into the Pirates, but they have stars there. Paul Skeets. It's a great pitcher. They have young talent there. If they put they're trying to win with young talent, and it's hard to do that. And I think if they put a little bit of money, and you're right, Derek, they're not required to. But damn, if you own a team,
they put more money into it than the Rockies do. I'll tell you that.
That's
they
true.
were also 28 games better than the Rockies this year.
That's what I'm saying. So I mean, but it's like if you're an owner and you buy a team, like that's the point. I get it, you're making money, and the thing is, with the TV deals and all that, you're still getting your money in. But like, dang, don't you want to be competitive? Like, don't you want to try to make it to the playoffs? Even if it's a wild card, have a wild card game at your stadium.
I mean, playoffs in Colorado used to be so much fun. They called it Rocktober. We only made it to the World Series once, and I believe we got swept by the Red Sox in that World Series. But you know what? I'll remember that playoff run to the World Series probably for the rest of my life. And now it's this. And it's because the owners just do not give a shit. They just don't care. They're going to make their money, even though nobody goes to the games anymore. I believe their biggest attendance this season was when they were trying to set a world record for having the most people named Kyle in one place. Because Kyle Freeland was pitching that night. So that's where we're at with the Rockies, and it pisses me off that the Monforts are just like, oh, we'll just change the GM and the coach and the manager again and all of this. Like, I don't care anymore, and it makes me sad because Coors Field is so much fun to go to, and I've been to a lot of baseball games there, and I don't even want to watch baseball anymore because I know the season's going to start again in like April, and the Rockies will be out of it by the second week.
Yeah. The return on investment for a market like LA market is easy to spend money, paid buckets of money for Ohtani and made it back in global marketing, and the same thing happened with George Steinbrenner Yankees. Yeah, but the thing is, though, is the team gets share revenue. So they get the money the Dodgers make gets sent out to the teams. So they can use that money. And it's not like they need to use their own money. The problem is these guys are greedy, and they just don't want to spend the money. Now I will say, because baseball doesn't have a salary cap. Check me on that, Buck.
I don't know.
The contracts are wild. Like obviously, Ohtani $700 million, for 20 years. It's crazy. But you can still spend money.
I agree with this too. The modern owner is not concerned with the on-the-field product. No, they're not. They're greedy. They just want to make as much money as they can. And just for the record, because I left this part out, the Diamondbacks finished 4th in the NL West this year. They were 13 games back of the Dodgers. Again, the Rockies were 50.
And Buck will tell you.
I get really angry about the Rockies. I get really angry.
No problem. And Buck will tell you, Diamondbacks are not that good. So let's talk about the playoffs real quick because I didn't know we were going to.
For the record, won 37 more games than the Rockies.
I didn't know we were going to talk about the Rockies in STV talk.
I'm sorry.
You're good. It's great. Love it.
My anger for the Rockies does not fit the vibe of STV talk. I'm sorry.